Show us that truck. Hey, man.
We're coming up.
Who was
Are
that?
you ready? Not yet. Almost. Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Wherever you are across the state of West Virginia, it's a high school football Friday night, and we are in southern West Virginia in Logan County, Chapmanville, for tonight's game between Chapmanville and Mingo Central. Welcome to the IOGA Energy Speaks Pipeline Sports Report, brought to you by Thomas Health Systems, Little General Stores, Summit Orthopedics, and also tonight Dolan and Kolaski Orthodontist. Frank Gardenia with the All-Pro Carl Lee. We have a lot of guests, a lot of important subjects to talk about tonight. Also, longtime sports writer Rich Stevens is with us. Rich, there's something special about coming out, I think, into West Virginia, into small town West Virginia, and the spirit, the passion, the pride you get for high school football. And you feel it here tonight in Chapmanville.
Oh, yeah. When I drove in about 45 minutes ago, you look up at the parking lot by the baseball field, you have Mingo Central folks. Mingo Central folks are tailgating already. And obviously people are streaming in. It's a senior night. You can shut down the town on a Friday night, can't you?
Carl, your thoughts on just the atmosphere here?
You know,
As a former player, it's exciting, isn't it?
yeah, for me, coming out of the Kanawha Valley, I think it's kind of gotten a little spoiled. It's kind of got a little mixed. But I think when you come to places like this, the good thing about it and what I enjoy is the community atmosphere and the connection that you feel like the players have to the town has to the team, and it becomes this huge kind of connection and support. To me, that just resonates to me every time that we're in this kind of situation.
Well, that happens with consolidations, and schools become area schools.
Right.
You lose a little bit of that sense of community, and we've seen that across the state, Rich. And you're right, in the Kanawha Valley area, you go to a Capital game or Riverside game or other games where there are several schools have gone together. It's different than when you come to a Chapmanville where it's your town against my town. Now, Mingo Central is a consolidation of several small towns, but here in Chapmanville, this Friday Night Lights is a big deal. It's important.
Well, they're not, Chapmanville, when they changed to Chapmanville Regional, they're not really consolidation, but they welcome students from Harts Creek who otherwise would have been in Lincoln County High School. So there's a little bit of that mixture. But in the Kanawha Valley, you have all the bigger schools. And because there's so many schools in that county, I know it's a large population, but they're also splintered. So I think that causes a discrepancy in levels of pride, quite frankly. In a small town like this, there's a lot of pride. A small area, even Mingo Central, even though it's a consolidation. They have the stadium up there on the hill, that's the only thing that's going on in town. That's like Chapmanville. It's Friday Night Lights. It's what it's all about. Everybody gathers. It's a social event as well as a football game.
I do think, though, there still is a kind of a sense of pride, a little bit like, in the Kanawha Valley from the standpoint of it's Capital, it's South Charleston, it's South Hills. But I think where this atmosphere is better is it because it is the kids that live in this area. And you watch them all the way through youth football, all the way down to high school homecoming and or that last game. To me, that connection is by far the greatest part of sports to me. As a player, playing in front of people who've watched you play your entire career, I think that matters. I think in the Valley, you got players playing in different places for multiple reasons. They want to play, they want to win a state championship. And I'd rather have played in my neighborhood and been supported by the same group all the way through, to me.
Sure.
Speaking of Capital, by the way, they're playing GW tonight.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that game?
I'll tell you what, George Washington has impressed me. They have a lot of weapons. Nunu Miller, running back. Coach Edwards is splitting the quarterbacks between the freshman and the Mackey kid. The Bowen kid is healthy. He's playing particularly well. Nice shot there. But I don't know what they'll be up against against Capital, but I expect that to be a heck of a ball game.
Carl, it seems to me, I know Capital has lost to Capital Midland, and Capital Midland is playing very well, but I get the sense that most people, when they still talk about the team to beat in Class AAA, it still kind of starts with Capital.
I think so, and I think even more. I'm going to kind of disagree a little bit in this game. For whatever reason, I feel like this is a 5-1 that's still a mismatch. I still feel the athletic ability that Capital has. I think they will outrun GW. I'm not sure unless GW can kind of come in and duplicate a little bit of what Capital Midland does. They can't get it. They can't get into a race with them. They can't throw the ball a lot and give the ball back to Capital and give them too many opportunities. I think it's really how the style of that game goes. I could agree and say that it could be close, but I think what's going to happen is I think GW likes to throw the ball. They're not a ground and pound kind of team, really, and I think that
Stevie's
could
not
work
that
against
patient,
them.
is he?
I just really don't know if that'll be enough. I think that'll hurt them if they don't do that. If they can't run the football and hold the clock, I think Capital will outrun them.
Well, to be honest with you, and I don't want to go on and on about this game, but when we were at the Capital Riverside game, one of the things that we talked about was, Capital doesn't have that bruising runner who will just like run over people.
Right.
The Nazario kid is a more of a scat back.
Right.
And I think that evens the playing field a little bit. I mean, we'll see. But it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Anybody ever call you a scat back when you were playing?
I don't think that was ever really a title that I got.
Did you ever make anybody miss?
Yeah, I scored a few touchdowns as I was a running back when Doug Kovac got hurt and I ran the ball.
You were the kind of guy that got what was blocked, right? They blocked the play for 8 yards. You got 8, maybe 9.
In front of the camera, behind the camera.
I think that I done. My running back skills were not great, but I think I did pretty good. I would go to say my running is better than your moonwalking or whatever that you were talking about that you were going to do.
I said I invented the moonwalk.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Nobody knows.
This week,
So he could be right.
we got a pro athlete here. Let's pick his pro brain a little bit. This week in sports has been kind of interesting with the baseball playoffs. You've seen a player first. You've seen a player who's not regarded as a dirty player, a player who's very respected in baseball, Chase Utley, make what has been considered a dirty play. And as a result, it's been a hot topic of conversation. The player that he slid into has been injured. He's been suspended. How unusual is it when a clean, respected player makes a, quote, dirty play? How's that perceived in the fraternity?
I think in this situation, it's kind of one of those, that's what you're supposed to do to protect, to get somebody on base, to get somebody to score. You disrupt the throw. But when it all goes wrong, and you get this kind of a situation, everybody turns and gets so mad as if it's not something that's a typical kind of play. But the interesting dynamic to me on this, and it hasn't happened thus far, is the secret codes that go behind when something dirty is done to your team. Yeah. They're just, professional sports has this code. I mean, it's always had a code that was, if you do something dirty, then something's coming back at you. You have to be prepared.
Baseball more than most, maybe, in hockey.
Certainly. Because you have the pitcher who has the ability to do something on purpose and make it look accidental.
Right.
I mean, really, you were talking about that play, the Utley play. He clearly went wide of the bag to try to prevent the double play. What bothers me is the unilateral decision and just bang. There are no parameters. There's no protocol. Just 2-game suspension, just like that. I'm not sure if I agree with that right off the top. That just seemed kind of immediate and kind of arbitrary.
From a baseball standpoint. Let me ask you this: is one last thing before we'll move on. But when you were playing pro football, if you knew that a player had a tweaked knee or an injury, did guys go after that? Was that considered something in the NFL you could do, or is it something that you go out of your way not to do?
It's interesting how it's all about how it's framed, because it's not like you go after that particular person to hurt him, but if his knee's not good, if his elbow's not good, you want to kind of get him out of the game because he can have an impact in the game. And I think it's the same with the slide. The intent is to make the throw go astray.
And if you hurt somebody, it's all the better.
Well, if you don't. I don't think that the intent was to actually hurt him, but that is the result of that action. And I think that's how it is in professional football. I think that's how it is in sports.
I don't think I don't think the fact that he broke his leg, he doesn't get suspended if the leg isn't broken.
I agree.
Does it tarnish Utley's reputation? Think about that. We'll talk about that when we come back. I mean, when a Pete Rose would fight, people kind of expected it, to be honest with you. They applauded it. It was Charlie Hustle. Utley's kind of been a squeaky clean guy, and when a guy like that makes a, quote, dirty play, I don't know that it should impact their reputation forever. I tend to look at the body of work, and I'd be interested to see what you guys think about that. Back with more. We're in Chapmanville tonight. It smells great here. I don't know what's cooking, but something smells great. And we're ready for a fun night. Thanks for being with us. We'll be right back.
Around the clock, 24/7. Hundreds of Thomas Health System doctors, nurses, and staff are focused on making quality care and wellness our utmost priority for you and your family. Each one of us is personally committed to your optimal health and well-being. Thomas Memorial Hospital and St. Francis Hospital. Your trusted, personal choice for a lifetime of good health. Every day, around the clock, 24/7. Hundreds of Thomas Health System doctors, nurses, and staff are focused on making quality care and wellness our utmost priority for you and your family. Each one of us is personally committed to your optimal health and well-being. St. Francis Hospital and Thomas Memorial Hospital, your trusted, personal choice for a lifetime of good health.
Welcome back to the IOGA Energy Speaks Pipeline Sports Report. Great to have you with us here as we are in Chapmanville tonight. Frank Gardenia, Carl Lee, and Rich Stevens talking some high school football and getting set for tonight's game here between Chapmanville and Mingo Central. I want to go back to the point we were making earlier. When a player with a clean reputation, kind of a squeaky clean reputation, makes a, quote, controversial play, how does that impact their reputation, or should it?
It's interesting. During the break, I was giving this some thought. I think it would tarnish his reputation almost invariably, except for one thing. He's garnered a lot of sympathy because I think some people, obviously nobody believes that he did it intentionally, wanted to hurt anybody. And the fact that they did throw down the 2-game suspension immediately, I think he immediately garnered some sympathy, so I think that'll kind of balance it out. Maybe not.
What do you think? From a football standpoint, when a squeaky clean player makes a, quote, dirty play, is it, well, that's just an accident, or how does it affect his reputation among the league?
I think in football what's a little bit different, there aren't really necessarily like that hard slide kind of thing in there. It's either clean or it's dirty. Now, the intent may have been to just get a good hit. Usually that's a high hit. Now they're going to say going to the head.
Right.
I think the moment that you make that hit, I think the concern becomes not so much for that player as a dirty hit, but does he respect the safety of the game? It becomes now about the safety of the game. People are saying, because back as they say, back in the day, if I hit you, I wanted to hit you hard, and I didn't care if I hurt you. Now the money's too good. I don't want to hit you too hard to where you're coming back at me. So we don't want this vengeance kind of going on between us. So I think there's kind of that kind of unspoken agreement. So I think most of the time in football, those really there's only a couple of guys that really do the really stupid stuff. There's not a lot of people that's going to step on you, stomp you, and that kind of stuff. Those kind of things are just people that are football players that just have a little bit of a different mindset.
Did you ever play against a guy who was a trash talker, but you didn't think he would be? Did he surprise you that he talked as much as he did?
Most of the trash talkers seem to be trash talkers, so it didn't really surprise you.
I thought maybe it was just you that brought it out of me.
The only person that I thought what was unique about them was Sterling Sharp, who was a guy that he didn't talk trash, but he could play the game. He just would never stop talking in the game. He'd talk to you. He'd talk to the guy beside you. He'd get in your huddle. Yeah, just any kind of conversation. He'd tell you that, the play's not coming this way. I mean, he was a guy that could uniquely play the game at a very high level, who did not have to be in tune, focused on the game. He could just play around. So he was the most unique guy that I think I experienced in the NFL.
Yeah, we had a kid at Penn State who played a long time in the NFL, O.J. McDuffie, a receiver. Something about those receivers. And Juice was a very nice, likable, friendly guy, good smile. He just liked to talk.
Yeah.
I hear he drove DBs crazy, because he would say, "You're hurt, aren't you?" He said, "I'm going to tell him that you're hurt. And I'm going to come." I mean, he just liked to carry on conversation.
Yeah, Sterling was the same way. He would walk through your huddle because he would know most of the guys by their name. And he would walk through the huddle. What do you call him? What do you call him? Man-to-man? You play man-to-man? He would just do that. And for him, it was fun. Yeah. And for me, it's like, man, leave me alone, because I have to be thinking about what I'm doing. I can't play that comfortably.
Right.
Well, let's talk about games across the state. It's a busy night as we're getting into some serious playoff talk as well. But around the state, there are some big ones. Probably none better than the small school game between Magnolia, New Martinsville, and St. Mary's. What do you think, Rich? That's a great matchup.
Oh, fantastic matchup. St. Mary's, made it to the state title game last year, and obviously Magnolia, they got a former star coach in them, Josh Sims, who surrounded himself with great assistant coaches. I expect that to be an unbelievable matchup. They're right down the road.
Not many seats at that game, will there?
No, they're right down the road from one another. What we talked about earlier, small town thing. You'll be able to shut down New Martinsville and St. Mary's, most of Pleasants County, and you'll be able to.
How important is this game at this time of the season? Because it's in that make or break time. One of these teams lose.
They're both in, but seeding, I guess.
Yeah. That's the question. Being undefeated, how devastating is it to you if you get that one loss on your record?
I'll be honest with you. I don't think Class A. I don't think it's a situation where there's any dominant teams. Mm-hmm. So if Magnolia or St. Mary's, whoever happens to lose this game, they come out with a loss. I don't think it's a matter of them having to go on the road, because I think either team, whoever loses, could go 9-1. And if they don't, lose another one down the road and have to go on the road for the playoffs, I think they're good enough to win on the road, and that's what it's all about.
Right.
After you get past the first round, second round, now you travel, can you win at somebody else's venue? And I think Magnolia and St. Mary's, they have a history of success, particularly, St. Mary's last year. I don't think it'll affect either team a loss. Now, that doesn't mean they won't feel like they have to win.
Right.
What other games jump out at you? We touched on Capital GW earlier.
We did touch.
Which I think will be to me, that's a very intriguing game. What are some other games that jump out at you?
Jefferson Fairmont Senior, fantastic game. Coach Abbott's back
5-1,
back at
6-0, right?
Fairmont Senior. Yep. Jefferson, the Johnson kid. He's he's a Kennedy candidate, a fantastic receiver. They're expecting big things. Now, of course, that's not exactly a trip right down the road for Jefferson either, especially on a Friday night. So that should be a whale of a ball game. Brook Parkersburg South. I mean, I think that a lot of people overlook that one. That's an important game for both teams. You're talking about how much would one loss hurt a team. I mean, Brook and Parkersburg South.
Where the records aren't glittering, but Wayne and Hoover. Wayne 3-3, Hoover 4-2. I mean, these teams, they need a win tonight, both of them.
I'm a big Tim Meyer fan, the Hoover coach. Big fan of that guy. But be honest with you, I don't think Wayne's starting to come around. They're starting to feel their oats a little bit. They're going to get better as the season goes on. Tommy Harmon Code teams typically do. I'm not sure if Hoover can hang with them. But you're right. On paper, it looks like a decent matchup despite the records. I just don't know if Hoover can stay with them.
Is there an overranked undefeated team? And if so, who is that? Who's that imposter that's floating out there with no loss that may not be that good?
Where are we again? I don't want to say it, but it'll be interesting to see. Tonight's game will be interesting because
Chapmanville has not lost. Mingo Central has one loss.
exactly. But Mingo Central is really good.
Right.
This could be one-sided. Dare I say?
Well, and I say the same thing about.
Should I tell my wife to start the car?
Yeah, you might. Yeah, that's the Capital GW
Rich
game
Rich
as well.
said that, yeah.
You know, that's how I look at the Capital GW game the same kind of way.
Sure.
I think that it has that potential in it as well.
Well, another interesting thing, Wes Eddy down at Princeton's got the Tigers rolling along. We might be a little
they play
surprised
James
by
Monroe,
the James
yeah.
Monroe game.
James Monroe has a history of good football players in that area, that part of the state. That's where Peterstown was a part of that school.
Right.
They had great history and tradition. A lot of good athletes come out of there. Those two schools don't particularly like each other. They're close to each other, relatively speaking. So that would be a good game, I would think.
Yeah, and Princeton, like I said, Wes Eddy, he's from my old stomping grounds up in the northern panhandle. And he's really got Princeton playing well. I don't know when the last time they were over 500 after 6 games.
I'm not sure I agree with you on Capital GW. You think that's going to be one-sided, huh?
I think there's a chance for it. I think, again, and I think it's going to be how the style of game is played. I just think that GW has to control the ball. They have to keep Capital off the field. They cannot afford to wing the ball and go 3 and out and give Capital another shot. I think that's my fear with them and allowing those athletes to keep getting back on the field. I just don't think that they can do it. If they can copycat Cabell Midland, I think that they've got a chance. I think that is the game plan to beat Capital or South Charleston. You have to be able to control the ball.
I don't think, and not to turn this into a Capital GW thing, but I just don't think Capital, they missed Kayshawn Haley. I know I keep going back to that, but I think it's very underestimated the value he brought to that team.
These teams don't like each other. They know each other, but
right.
Tonight they don't like each other.
Right, and the fact of the matter is, I mean, you're right. They do like to throw the ball with the freshman and the Mackey kid, but Nunu Miller will get 30 carries.
Yeah.
And if they don't turn the ball over and they can move it they will, I think they have the ability to keep it out of Capital's hands.
Yeah, I'm not going to say GW will win, but I think it's going to be closer than this expert thinks. We'll see. All right, we'll be back with more after this. Stay with us.
For more than 200 years, guests have been coming to the Greenbrier to take the cool mountain breezes and experience authentic Southern hospitality. Today, that passion has been reinvented. The Greenbrier is the quintessential luxurious vacation. Book your stay today, and we'll create experiences that last a lifetime. Call 877-735-5068 or visit greenbrier.com.
welcome back to the IOGA Energy Speaks Pipeline Tailgate Show. Frank Gardenia, Carl Lee, Rich Stevens with you. Also sponsored tonight by Thomas Health Systems, Little General Store, Summit Orthopedics, and Dolan and Kolaski Orthodontists. We have picked things up here a little bit. We're in Chapmanville tonight for some good Coalfield football. Chapmanville taking on Mingo Central, two teams with outstanding records. We have the Mingo Central cheerleaders here. Ladies, thanks for coming by. Where are they?
They're behind us. They're trying to be quiet. They're trying to be quiet.
Surrounded.
Somebody's got to say hello.
That's better. There you
First
go.
of all, tell us, let's do a little quiz. Do you guys know which schools consolidated to make Mingo Central? Gilbert was one, right?
Yeah.
Tell us the other. Williamson?
Matewan and Birch.
Matewan, four of them. Matewan and Birch.
Somebody knows the history right here.
So if those four schools were still in existence, who would have the better who would have the better football team? Oh, there we go.
Typical you. You want to cause some controversy, Frank. That's all you do. So tell me, what is your best part of homecoming? Forget the game, because I know the cheerleaders have their own side stuff. So what's the favorite thing that you enjoy about homecoming individually? Spirit Week. Tell us a little bit about it.
We have dress up days like Decade Day, Twin Day, Spirit Day.
So so give me an example of how you dressed up.
Me and her dress up as twins. Yeah, we dress up in like the same outfit. In the same outfit.
Some other?
Me and my two dress up as giant babies.
As what?
Giant baby.
Oh, okay. I can imagine that picture. Okay.
Now, Mingo Central is the Miners, right?
Yeah.
That's a very. Was everybody happy with that nickname when it first started?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it describes where we're from. Yeah.
Move the mic around, he says. Tell us.
Yeah, it's on. It's on. Just hold it up a little bit up closer.
You know what's most special about coming down to the coal fields is the twang. The twang. Yeah, we like the Miners nickname. I love it. That's awesome. No, it's not an insult. Trust
No,
me.
it is not. It is not.
Fantastic.
One of our favorite people is Coach Kinder, Yogi Kinder, the
Yogi.
football coach.
Yeah.
Do you guys make fun of Yogi at all with the name Yogi?
No.
Oh, missing an opportunity there.
So give us some cheer. Give us like you're winning, the game's going good. What's the cheer that you would do to get all the fans going?
All the way down the line. Yeah. 1, 2, ready? 5, 6, 7, 8.
All the way, double A, MCH.
Is that as long as it goes? Well, give us a little bit more. Give us a little bit.
We say it about 3 or 4 times.
All right, well, give it to us.
Yeah,
Give it to us. It's airtime. Take your airtime off.
5, 6, 7, 8.
All the way, double A, MCH. All the way, double A, MCH. All the way, double A, MCH.
See, now I feel like I'm ready to go play.
Yeah, there you go. I like the way they've adapted that too, because the MCHS wouldn't work.
Yeah.
It's just one letter too long. You know, some will do MHS or VHS or something like that, but MCH.
So you would pick that out.
Well,
You would pick that out. I didn't get any of that.
well, that's because you didn't go to games like I did, and you don't.
I know. The problem was I was playing and they were cheering,
you
and you
were-
were sitting somewhere at the top
you were in
somewhere.
I was eating the pizza and the nachos.
Okay.
That's it. What's the best thing you have at the concession stand at Mingo Central?
Best thing in the concession stand?
Yeah.
Well, we usually sell like home baked goods. Yeah.
All right, so that's why that'll get us to come down there.
Yes,
Yeah.
that'll
Oh,
get you
yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
That'll get.
So they buy everything in the valley. They buy everything and just sell it from out of the box. So when you somebody's making your stuff. Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
See, you can't beat that.
Well, yeah, there's not as many trips to Sam's Club. That's what it is.
Well, thank you, ladies, for coming by. Have a good time tonight. It's warmer here than it is up on top of the mountain, right?
Yeah.
When I think of a game at your place, I think of wind and cold. Is that
Rainy sometimes.
rainy?
But
Okay.
where would you rather be? Here or up there?
Yeah, on mountain.
I figured you'd say that.
What's that?
Everything's better on the mountain.
Everything's
Is there
better
a
than the
T-shirt that
mountain.
says that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's why we need to get Carl one of those T-shirts.
Thank you, ladies.
And get him a girl's size shirt. Thank you, ladies, for
Thank
coming
you.
by.
Have a good evening, guys.
Oh.
Enjoy the game.
We'll be back with more after this.
All right. We've got this segment here and bring not Kathy, it's your wife, Tammy.
Coach Bob Huggins here at your local Little General store. As I travel this great state, it's nice to know that almost anywhere I go, there's a local Little General nearby. So the next time you're on the road, look for the Little General sign and tell them Hugs sent you.
We'll get your perspective as a coach too. Did a parent ever come and talk to you about playing time? She'll surprise you. She doesn't think the parents should ever.
Every day, around the clock, 24/7. Hundreds of Thomas Health System doctors, nurses, and staff are focused on making quality care and wellness our utmost priority for you and your family. Each one of us is personally committed to your optimal health and well-being. Thomas Memorial Hospital and St. Francis Hospital. Your trusted, personal choice for a lifetime of good health. Every day, around the clock, 24/7. Hundreds of Thomas Health System doctors, nurses, and staff are focused on making quality care and wellness our utmost priority for you and your family. Each one of us is personally committed to your optimal health and well-being. St. Francis Hospital and Thomas Memorial Hospital, your trusted, personal choice for a lifetime of good health.
The fun is in Chapmanville, West Virginia tonight on the Energy Speaks Tailgate Show. Frank Gardenia, Carl Lee with you. We had Rich Stevens earlier talking about the high school football as we move into week 8 around the state of West Virginia. Now we want to get into another subject. We talked earlier about player conduct at the professional level. And we want to talk about another issue that's hot in sports today, and that is parent conduct. And every day it seems that we're seeing something happen in sports with an issue with a parent around the country. This week we read where a youth league in Texas was shut down because of parental conduct. And we have the sports mom with us, Tammy Ryan, who is had a child who played every sport you can imagine, and also went on to play a college sport in the Mountain East Conference. Tammy, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk about, as a mom, did you ever find yourself in a position where you wanted to complain to a coach about playing time or other issues?
Well, every mom wants to complain, but that's not the thing to do. That's between the player and the coach. I don't think that a parent should ever approach a coach, or it's just not a parent's place to complain to a coach about a kid's playing time.
How about officials and umpires and referees and that type of thing? And I know you have a son who does a lot of officiating as well now. How hard is it as a parent not to go after an umpire or an official that you think is wrong?
Well, I've been guilty of it myself, but
sometimes you coaches were glad to have some help, right? Bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it
Sometimes
on.
you like that somebody else is yelling.
Bring it on.
But it is against the law to touch an official or any kind of referee. But as a parent, I think that the parents need to stay out of it, especially since my own child is now a referee and an umpire. I don't think that they're not getting paid enough to take the flack that they take from the parents. And that's what keeps a lot of people from going into umpiring and refereeing, is because they don't want to take the flack from the parents.
Well, that's a good point. If that happens, there's always a shortage of officials in the state of West Virginia, for example. And some people don't want to take the abuse they take. Soccer is a sport, I understand, where they have a very hard time getting officials. And a lot of times there aren't very many out there, and you can't see everything.
Well, and I think the other piece of, like, say, soccer or even baseball, the fans can be, and football, especially in youth sports, you are so close to the field in a lot of stadiums basketball that you feel so connected to the game, and you feel like you have the right to say whatever you want to the official, and really you typically you hurt the team that you're advocating for. You hurt them because officiating, like everything else, is still personal.
That's right.
And you can get an official to a point where, you know, they're looking now for something, and I think that's a difficult thing.
I talked to a football official once who said that there was a parent from the stand every game that he officiated, and every play he was yelling that number 74 was holding. And he told the kid on the team, he said, hey, you tell 74 he's got a free pass tonight. He can do whatever he wants. And just because he did not want to give any credence to the yelling that was coming from the stands.
And I think that there are bad personality officials that are there, that in some sense they've got to be able to handle that. But then I think that from the parent's point of view, they have to realize that they are not connected to that game. They have nothing in that game
and that's
other
what
than
you
their
have
child.
a coach for.
Yeah.
Your coach is your advocate between your child and the official.
All right, Timmy, let me ask you, did you ever, if you were talking to a mother who was upset with her coach and wanted to talk to the coach about her son's playing time, no matter what the sport, what advice would you give her?
I would tell her to step away. Step away, because your coach your coach is not playing your child for a reason. Either because he's not good enough to play, or sometimes...
We don't want to hear that as a parent. That's the one thing. Our philosophy as a parent is in football, I want you to play your 10 best players and my son.
Yeah, exactly.
Basketball, play your 4 best and my son.
Yeah.
But sometimes coaches hold that against the child if the parent is interfering.
Yeah, because you don't want to, as being a former coach, you don't want to play a kid whose parent is going to criticize if he's not getting the ball enough or whatever.
You don't want to make it look like that you're bowing to their wishes.
Exactly. And I think and youth football, what parents don't understand is if you don't understand that your kid might not be good enough, and he goes through practice and we as a coach evaluate him and we realize he's not connecting with everything. You want him to play in the game because we're winning,
right,
or we're losing so bad, but when you put him in there, he's playing against somebody who may know. And you're actually asking me to put your kid in a game to actually have a possibility of getting hurt.
And
they just do not understand that piece of it.
That's right.
Even in college, do you have parents complain about playing time?
Yes, and
I think it's a surprise to some people. I've seen that all my career. Wherever I've worked, parents complaining, but I think that surprises a lot of people.
College parents, whether you give the kid a scholarship, that's not really enough. When they come miles away to come to the game and it's homecoming, they want their kid to play. They believe that their kid should play. It's homecoming, regardless of how close the score is, some kind of way you would get that kid in. And I had a parent tell me that, they were really disappointed in me because I didn't play. I recruited their son, he came, and he didn't play. And I tried to explain to her, what you need to do is go talk to your son.
That's right.
And ask your son why he's not the running back. He knows exactly why he's not. Because if I tell, like Frank said, if I say he's not good enough, that's going to be the worst thing I can possibly say. So I try to leave that on the college level, I try to leave that to the kids to explain to their parents.
Now there's a commitment today of year-round participation. Your son got a soccer scholarship. You did a lot of travel soccer, which a lot of parents around our state do and around the country do, travel baseball. If you do it, is it worth it as far as your son did get a scholarship? What if you don't? What if you're not good enough to get the scholarship? If you go into it solely for the reason of saying, we're doing this because we want a scholarship, is that the right reason?
No, because every kid on that team is not going to get a scholarship. You have to go into it with the knowledge that this is fun, and he's getting good training. You can't go into it unless your kid is on an elite travel team. You can't go into it with the anticipation that your child is going to get a scholarship because all 20 kids on that team are not going to get a scholarship.
I agree with you. That's a hard thing, Carl, because parents invest the money in travel teams and AAU basketball with the anticipation that that's going to come back.
Yeah, that's never a trade out. That's never going to be a trade out because your kid may be the best player on his team, and they've recruited him to play on the AAU team, and he may be the last player on the AAU team, and even if he plays in the game, that may do more than anything else show that he's not that good. And I think that's the fear that you have to have.
But then when you get at a national level, just because your kid wasn't the best at this level doesn't mean he's going to be the best at a national level. And it's hard for a parent to understand that. Well, he was super kid at this level, but that doesn't mean he's going to be super kid at a national level. It doesn't mean he's going to get recruited by a college coach either. So,
right.
You're right. I think even if you're on a travel team, you go into it because it's going to be enjoyable, it's going to be fun. You like the competition, you want to get better, you meet other people.
And you get great training.
But if you think you're going to get a scholarship, you might be sorely disappointed.
Well, and I think even if you take it past the scholarship, I think where sports is going, Division I, Division II, professionally, for sure, there's more than the skill set. There's more than the jump shot. There's more than the pitching. There's more than the batting. It is going to be more about you as character and all of those things. And the problem that I have with some of the AAU teams, some of the travel teams, it's coaches just coaching talent and just letting them kind of go out, throw the basketball out, and they go play. Throw the ball out, and they go kick it. And it's not really explaining to them that there's going to be much, much more to it than just being a skill set. They want to know who you are, what you're like, what your history is, and they're not doing anything about that.
Well, a lot of the coaches are, though. They're teaching them how to be men, at the higher level. My son played at an elite level. I don't know below that, but they teach them how to be men. They teach them how to be Christian men. They had prayer before every game. I don't know about every level, but
clearly, and Frank probably would agree, there are people who are out there doing AAU basketball that's just a guy who decided he wanted to do it and got a group of kids and are going out and going to play, and they know less about basketball than the kids that they're coaching.
A lot of them are frustrated coaches professionally, and this is their way of having a bit of a release.
There again, you get back to that participation thing.
Yes.
We need to take a break. We're in Chapmanville, West Virginia. Great football game tonight. Chapmanville, Mingo Central. Back with more after this.
Around the clock, 24/7. Hundreds of Thomas Health System doctors, nurses, and staff are focused on making quality care and wellness our utmost priority for you and your family. Each one of us is personally committed to your optimal health and well-being. Thomas Memorial Hospital and St. Francis Hospital. Your trusted, personal choice for a lifetime of good health. Every day, around the clock, 24/7. Hundreds of Thomas Health System doctors, nurses, and staff are focused on making quality care and wellness our utmost priority for you and your family. Each one of us is personally committed to your optimal health and well-being. St. Francis Hospital and Thomas Memorial Hospital, your trusted, personal choice for a lifetime of good health.
welcome back here to Chapmanville. We're right outside of Chapmanville High School at the football stadium, getting ready for tonight's game between Chapmanville and Mingo Central. Frank Gardenia, Carl Lee, and Rich Stevens with you here, the IOGA Energy Speaks Pipeline Sports Reporter. And we are joined now by the Chapmanville High School cheerleaders. How are you ladies tonight?
Good.
So who's going to win this one?
Chapmanville.
All right.
See, I love this color. You know, this orange and black, it works for me.
Yeah,
You know that, right?
South Charleston.
Yes,
guy,
I'm a
right?
South Charleston guy,
Hey,
so I love the colors.
One of the three of us is a former NFL player. Can you guys guess which one? Why? I mean, how come?
And he wasn't even the mascot. He was like the guy that was sitting way at the very top.
Does flag football count?
Counts for something. So ladies, I asked the other cheerleaders, for you, what's the most special part of homecoming outside of the football game? For the week, what's the most fun things that you all do?
Dress up.
So that's a routine now. All schools dress up. Okay, so what did you dress up as?
We dress up as like different decades. We dress up like rockers and we dress up like zombies.
What did you dress up as?
I dressed up as a rocker.
Okay, and you?
Me?
Yes.
I dressed up.
You forgot? You forgot?
I dressed up, but I mean, I was kind of like, oh, wait, it wasn't about me. Wait.
Who was a zombie? Who was a zombie?
Was anybody a zombie?
Abby was. She was a zombie.
See, that's my goal in life. I want to be an actor. I want to be a zombie.
So you're watching too many bad movies. That's the problem you got. What did you dress up as?
Well, I had a concussion, so I wasn't able to go.
How did you get a concussion?
My flyer just fell. So I couldn't go, so I was
What
at
fell?
home.
What'd she say?
She said, I thought she said her flower fell.
My flyer. Like,
Oh.
in the sun. I'm in the sun.
Oh, you got to get me better. You got to help me out. You know. So she fell. She hit her head.
She hit my head.
She hit your head and gave you a concussion.
Yeah. She was out
How long
for
did
a
you
week.
have to be out?
Well, I'm kind of still out, but I mean, I can cheer, but I can't compete or anything. I was out for a week of not doing nothing.
See, it's not like when you were in school. Cheerleaders now are gymnasts.
You
They
can't
don't
do
the
But
same
what is still true is athletes are athletes and non-athletes are non-athletes. That remains the same. All right, so you got to do it. You got to give us a good cheer, something, and it's got to last a little bit because you want to get your air time. So what if when you get up and you're winning, what's the cheer that you get the crowd going with? Yeah.
T-I-T-I-G-T-I-G-E-R-S, Chapmanville, Tigers. T-I-T-I-G-T-I-G-E-R-S, Chapmanville, Tigers. T-I-T-I-G-T-I-G-E-R-S, Chapmanville, Tigers.
I like the whoop whoop. How come you guys don't do the whoop whoop?
Yeah. Where was that coming from? Oh, okay. Yeah, you all need to add that in it.
Yeah. You need to add that whoop whoop there. Let me give you some Chapmanville trivia history question. Where did the governor of the state of West Virginia, where did he go to high school?
Here.
Okay, you know that, all right. How about does anybody know the name Danny Godby?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
He is 70 years old, in better shape than you are, brother.
Well, thank you.
What do you say to that?
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that one.
You're impressed. We were looking for him, but if you see him walking around here, tell him we need him to come by.
Who is like there's always like a super fan somewhere in the stands. Do you guys have like that super fan?
My mom. Yes.
Your mom?
Yeah.
Where?
Yes, please, everybody. Yeah, there's a really old. I don't know his name.
How do y'all not know his name?
He's just a really old man.
He's just an old man. He screams at everybody
here.
Yeah.
So how big are Friday nights here in Chapmanville?
How big are Friday nights here in Chapmanville? Games.
Oh, they're huge.
The whole town come out.
Yeah.
So
If it rains, everybody's out. We're out. I'm out, they're out, we're all out. Except for my players.
Now, if we go to the Dairy Queen tonight and tell them that we met you guys, will they give us a free milkshake?
Yeah.
All right.
They might if you look good enough.
Well, see, there you go.
Well, you're out. we need to bring money. We need to bring money.
I got plenty of money, trust me. All right, we'll take a break. The Chapmanville cheerleaders. We'll be back with more after this.
Coach Bob Huggins here at your local Little General store. As I travel this great state, it's nice to know that almost anywhere I go, there's a local Little General nearby. So the next time you're on the road, look for the Little General sign and tell them Hugs sent you.
Welcome back. We're in Chapmanville for the IOGA Energy Speaks Tailgate Show. Frank Gardenia, Carl Lee, Rich Stevens here tonight at the Chapmanville Mingo Central game. Kind of setting the table for all the games across the state of West Virginia. We move into a very important part of the season. We have with us the student section, the student leader section from the Chapmanville students tonight. Tell us your name.
My name's Jeff Saunders, and I'm the sponsor of our high school pep club.
Now let me ask you this. At Chapmanville here, you've got other schools in the region, Man and Logan County. Do you guys root for everybody, or do you root against those guys tonight?
We don't. We root against them. It's all Chapmanville or nothing.
I like it. That's the way it used to be. And
old school.
In today's politically correct society, it's not good to say that, but I like that. So the Man Hillbillies are having a pretty good season again in single A. They actually beat Logan earlier this year. So you guys, do you follow their scores, or do you just follow Chapmanville?
Well, we follow the scores because, with the way the rankings and things go, we're hoping that the teams that we beat win so that we can gain their points.
All right, let's pick a few games here tonight, Rich. We've touched on some of the games around the state. Capital and GW, who do you like?
Well, I'm going to go with Capital, but I think it's going to be a close game because it's on GW's grass, and I think that makes a difference.
I'm going to go with Capital, and I think it'll be a close game because Carl said it wouldn't be. You're going with Capital.
I'm going to go with Capital, and I'm thinking there's going to be a little space between it. I don't think it's going to be as close as maybe you guys think it's going to be.
Or how about the Jefferson and Fairmont Senior?
I think Fairmont's going to suffer their first loss of the season.
People forget they're AA now.
That's true, but and Jefferson has a lot of athleticism, and quite frankly, the game is more important to Fairmont Senior because all the points they would generate from a AAA team. But I think Jefferson just has too many athletes.
Biggest game of the night in the state might be two of the smaller schools in single A, Magnolia and New Martinsville and St. Mary's. That's two teams that both could win a state championship.
Real close game. You think it being that close, home field advantage might make the difference, but I've got to go with Magnolia. I just think they're more battle tested, quite frankly.
Does home field advantage really matter much in high school, Carl?
I do. I think it matters a lot. I think that when you have this group right here has a lot to do with making home field advantage the difference. And I think it's more comfortable to play at home. You don't have to travel. You got the whole bus thing and all of that kind of stuff. When you can just show up and have your fans there, I think it has to be an advantage. And of course, you really wouldn't know that since you've never really played. So it would be difficult for you to figure out how that worked. I'm just saying.
But it's been so long since you played. Do you remember?
I do.
He's wrong again. In high school, home field advantage, what difference does it make where you go? I mean, it's
time, comfort, relaxation, all of those kind of things matter.
Not getting on a bus.
Yeah, you're not getting on a bus. You don't have all that. Eating somewhere you don't know, all of those kind of things.
Of course, when he was at South Charleston, it didn't matter where they were.
That's true.
Home or what. What's a tough place to play? Is this a tough place to play, guys, for the visiting team?
Yes, it is. They got to deal with us.
So where do you guys sit? Like, how close are you to?
We stand right here, right in this front corner.
Oh, okay. And are they on this sideline or the other sideline?
They're all the way down on this side.
Oh, okay. See, it would be better if you're like right behind them in their ear and you're yelling at them and they get them all worked up. That would be the ideal thing. So you might want to try to find a way to get closer to them.
Oh, as far as our team, they're right in front of us.
Their team.
Their team's on the other
Oh,
side.
okay. See, I like the idea. Like,
He's trying to start trouble. He wants to see United.
I'm thinking like I'd like to be right behind your bench and just yelling at you the whole time and get you all worked up, and then you won't play well. Well, you wouldn't be playing.
If I was the visiting team, I'd just be scared to look at him. As long as they can see you, it's fine.
So how long has this been going on? How long has this group been going on now?
We've been going almost the whole season. We started, I think, the Scott game. When we played them here, they're a Route 119 rival.
What's the name of you guys? The Rowdies, or what's the name of your section? Do you have a
What
name?
is our name? I don't know what our name is.
We're actually still deciding. We don't really know yet, so we haven't.
Yeah, we're
So
still
you're that
working
new.
on
You're
that.
that new that you haven't figured out a name yet.
Actually, we had one last year. It's just
Our coach quit. That was our name. It went by.
yeah, we were half Brazilians, but
Oh, okay. All right.
he left.
Coach Hatcher went where, to Logan?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when he comes back here to play, do they play Chapmanville basketball still?
No.
They don't? Oh. You
We
got,
have a name for basketball.
Yeah.
what is that?
Nappier's Nightmares. His Nappier's our coach now. So.
Oh, okay.
Don't you guys have like a big foreign player also?
Yes.
How is he? Pretty good?
Yeah. He's one of us now.
It took a while. Does he get disappointed when he comes to this game tonight and it's not a soccer game?
Starting trouble here.
No one responded to that either.
Right.
I don't think you don't have soccer here, do you?
We have soccer for the younger kids. We have younger leagues, but we don't have high school soccer yet.
All right.
Now that you got turf, time to go get
Yeah,
it.
the rumor is that we're supposed to have it next year.
So
good.
what's the prediction for tonight?
What do you guys think?
We're going to win.
Give us a score.
35-21.
Who do you have left the rest of the way? Who else is on the schedule? So you got a tough stretch the rest of the way,
And they're
right?
both on the road.
We travel.
There you go.
Will you guys go on the road to those games?
Yeah, wherever they go, we're home.
Well, be careful on those highways. Those aren't easy roads. So, well, now how many of you when you're probably too young to remember Carl Lee when he played in the NFL? Do you remember what team he played for? Without looking.
What team did I play for?
Well, considering the hat, I'm going to say the Vikings.
There you
Well,
go.
but see, he wouldn't have known. He wouldn't have known.
No, he wasn't probably born even.
I want his hat. Can I?
Yeah, that is a cool hat. I noticed that earlier.
Well, thank you guys. Make lots of noise for your team tonight.
All right,
So.
thank you very much.
All right, we are done here. Chapmanville High School is the location tonight. Mingo Central and Chapmanville getting ready to play. Great games across the state. Enjoy it, everyone.